Welcome in to the recorded on Saturday, January 27th. Going live on Saturday, January 27th, 2024 CBG podcast. This is a return to the podcast, which I have not done since the year. This is way back, 2022. That was episode 32 on March 28th of 2022. Guys, welcome in. If you appreciate the content and the blabbering that's about to ensue resonates with you, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. You got to click that bell icon for all notifications to make sure you know when I go live randomly on a Saturday at 5:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And make sure to drop me a comment because we will get to the comments. Now, I do not have two monitors. Right now, I am live streaming from my patio. I don't know how much background noise there is. I'll find out after I'm done recording. This was actually done fairly quickly. I grabbed my HyperX microphone, attached it on a table outside on my patio, hooked it up to my laptop, and stuck the battery into the outlet out here, and we're live. So I don't have two monitors, so when I go to the comments, you're literally going to see everybody's comment because I only have one monitor. Let's go to the comments. Let's see if there's anybody here. As you can see, my NordVPN is paused. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, drop me a comment. Let me know that you're in the live stream. So the whole purpose of this live stream, one of the things I had commented on to you guys in all seriousness here, I do the daily live streams. I go live every single day, Monday through Friday, talk about technical analysis. But, I wanted to get back to just podcasting on an auditory form, not video, just auditory, just to talk with you guys. I think a lot of people have lost touch with the fact that we can still connect with other human beings without visually seeing one another. I've had some of my best business relationships on phone calls before video chat was a thing. So this is going to be auditory. I'm not going on camera. It's a lot more chill for me. I'm out here on my porch, just relaxing. For those of you who are following me on Twitter at CryptoBullGod, you know that earlier I was well, a couple things. One, I had a great workout this morning. Really beginning to feel much more like myself, beginning to lift heavy. I was joking with my significant other that I was getting a good sweat on in the gym, which felt great. So starting to feel more like myself, and then took a trip to the beach. So might actually go there again tomorrow. I don't know. It's supposed to be really nice. Of course, conference championships are playing tomorrow in the NFL. So did want to catch most of that. So I don't know if I'll make it to the beach or not. I'll have to see. But I don't know that I feel like being in all day indoors tomorrow. We'll have to see. For those that don't know, I'm a full-time work at home, so sometimes it's nice to just get out of the house, to be quite honest. But yeah, it's good to be back on the podcast. So, the podcast format, the way this is going to work, I'll go to the comments, I'll see who's in here live. I honestly do not want to create, at this point, I don't want to create any form of structure in terms of when I'll go live for the podcast. It could be a Saturday. It could be I don't feel like doing all in the charts on a Thursday, and maybe I do the podcast on a Thursday. But it's going to be once a week, just once a week. So for the most part, I want to maintain the structure I have with my all in the charts daily TA live stream. But I want to go back to this CBG podcast once a week. And the structure of the CBG podcast is, we're not doing technical analysis. I just want to make that clear. We're not doing technical analysis. I may reference some moving averages at times or talk about a little bit of high-level technical analysis here, but I got the hiccups. I'm very excited to be back on here. But, yeah, we're not going to be breaking down, bullish divergences, and I'm not going to be taking TA questions. We're not doing that. We will talk about crypto markets. We may talk about some fundamental things going on in the markets and my thoughts. We could completely divulge and start talking about the immigration issues within the United States. We could talk about gym routines and my philosophy in general on working out, and anything that crosses your mind. You can to the extent I do these things live, you can feel free and drop me your comments in terms of what you want to talk about. And quite frankly, if I'm doing these live streams on a Saturday, unexpectedly at 6 o'clock in the evening, look, I get it. Most of you guys, you have families, you're out with them. You're not going to be with me live if I do a live stream like this, and I totally get that. Of course, some of you actually are located outside of the United States, even taking into account different time zones within the United States, but some of you guys are located outside of the United States, so you may actually be with me live. But regardless, totally understand if you can't catch this live. But if you're catching this live, you can certainly drop me a comment on things you have questions for me about, things you want to talk about. And I promise to be as receptive as possible to those items. Juan, welcome in. Good to see you here, my friend. Always showing the support and love. KR, yes, brother. Hope you're good. I just finished my lean bulk. 31 pounds added. 31 pounds added in 8 months. Start my shred Monday, bro. Wish me luck. Natural, not all muscle, of course, but still pretty lean. Gym talk, yes. Saturday night here in the UK, partying. I'm in bed every Saturday night. That's right. Hey, KR, if you could please, I'm curious. Let's take this offline. So send me a DM on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at one word, just like Twitter here. It's the same thing on X or Twitter. You can follow me at Crypto Bulldog on Instagram. Drop me a DM. I'll go check my DMs. I am very bad at checking my DMs, but I'd be curious to have a little bit of conversation with you regarding your nutrition plan. Curious to see your age, physique, where you're at in terms of working out. I have a lot of perspective I can provide there. So I'll go back to the comments in a moment, but I want to kind of share my high-level thoughts in terms of a few things I wanted to talk about today. So first things first, guys. We are early into 2024. It's January. We're ending out the month here. I'm going to be going live in a few days. We're going to check out that monthly close on Bitcoin. See how it's closing out the first month of the year. And I really want to emphasize something to you. And I'm going to be hitting on this pretty hard in my live stream. I can't tell you with certainty, and no one in this market can tell you with certainty when we will be topping. And it's interesting. I actually, when I was at the beach today, I went back and I listened to the last CBG podcast I did. And it was very evident to me, listening to episode 32, that while the analysis I was giving and the thoughts I provided were very logical, I was like, okay, I'm glad I said this. This is very sensical. You never know, going back to yourself, listening to yourself almost 2 years later, you hope you sound as logical as you would hope you would be. And I'm like, all that sounds logical. Completely wrong on timing. I was completely wrong on timing. It was one of the bigger macro mistakes that I made in 2022, not paying attention to those negative divergences on the higher time frame charts for Bitcoin. And we ended up having a really large correction, right? We had this irregular correction I've spoken about ad nauseum called an expanded flat correction within an Elliott wave. You live and you learn from that. And so where I'm going with this is I want you guys to really keep this in mind as you're taking a look at your portfolios. I have a primary view, this main hypothesis that I've come up with. that I've shared with you guys, that Bitcoin's going to have a blow off top within the first half of this year, as late as July. Like, that's my primary hypothesis. But I think it's also very important to consider alternative hypothesis and view other people's charts whose technical analysis and expertise you respect. And so with that being said, I'm very open to the idea that I could be wrong, like I've been wrong before, from a timing perspective. And Bitcoin doesn't have a blow off top until the end of the year, or maybe even early 2025. And admittedly, as I've shared with you guys, I'm honestly sort of hoping for that. Because some of the assets that I have accumulated later in the cycle, once I sell them, they would be taxed at long-term capital gains tax rates over short-term capital gains tax rates if the cycle actually does last a little bit longer than I'm anticipating. And the difference between long-term and short-term capital gains tax, pretty simplistic. You know, your long-term capital gains tax, it's going to be taxed at 20%. Your short-term capital gains tax, if you hold something less than a year, it's taxed at an ordinary income tax rate, which for me, being a high income earner, that's going to be like a 39-40% tax rate, right? So basically twice the amount of taxes I have to pay. So admittedly, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this cycle goes a little bit, the blow off top goes, I hate to say the word cycle. I hope the blow off top, is a little bit later. It goes into late 2024, but we'll have to see. But the most important thing you can do is to remain really diligent and patient with your investments. Have an investment strategy in terms of how and when you plan to sell, and stick to it unless something materially changes. Just don't forget that as we move forward. There's certain key messages I'm going to continue to convey to you guys and encourage you to think about to make your own personal financial investment decisions, because I never do that. I give you, my insights into the market, how I view things, but certainly I am absolutely not a market expert, and I'm never going to offer you financial advice. But you have to come up with your own conclusions in terms of how you're going to approach things, and I'm here to help with that. So just something to think about, something to mull over, and something, I'll continue to hit on. Another thing that kind of hit me when I was at the beach today, I'll get into your comments shortly. I'll flip over and see who's in the live stream. Something else I wanted to hit on, had an opportunity to think about. When I came back to YouTube, and I had taken an extensive period of time off because of everything going on with my health. It was a long live stream. I came back on Thursday what date was that? Thursday the 18th, okay? And the live stream was nearly 2 hours. It didn't feel like 2 hours, but it was nearly 2 hours. And something I hadn't done was I hadn't gone back and actually listened to the live stream. And I wanted to go back and listen to it at some point. So today happened to be the day. I went to the beach, was having a great day. A little more cloudy than I would have liked. Not as much sun, but still, I'm not going to complain. It was beautiful. Beautiful, and thankful to just be alive and feeling good, feeling positive. Mental fatigue and certain challenges with that, irritability, depression. It's been a challenge, but feeling good today. So I was at the beach and listening to some music, feeling good, and then got sick of the music and trying to go to YouTube and find some educational content, struggling to find educational content that I really wanted to listen to, that I haven't already listened to. So I went to my own, I went to my live stream from last Thursday, and I said, I want to listen to this. I want to critique myself, because I routinely do that. And I also just want to kind of take in where I was at in that moment, because it was a pretty defining moment for me to come out and share all that stuff. I don't know how it came across, but it was very personal. So, in listening to that, there's a few things that hit me that I wanted to share with you guys. All this stuff that we do here when we're examining markets and we're trying to come up with conclusions and hypotheses and whatever words you want to use. And I always joke about, I have all these different synonyms I use. This is to better your financial future, right? That's what this is all about. I think something that's really hard to convey to my family, especially my father, I'll just say my father because he was raised a certain way, is, Dad, the dollar doesn't control me. That's not what this is about. This is about creating financial freedom. This is about earning and working hard towards a goal so that I'm never working for money and my money is working for me. And I don't know that has ever sunk in with him. I'm not going to lose sleep over it at this point. But that's what this is about for me. I want to invest in a way where my money ultimately is making money for me and I'm not working for my money. My money is working for me, right? But what you realize is when you go through something very serious in life, it's really not cliche. It's not, guys. If you're young, because I know my audience, I can go to my YouTube statistics and I can see who's listening here. If you're in your 20s, even if you're in your 30s, chances are, if you're in your 20s or 30s, you personally, or you do not know someone who has gone through something similar to what I shared. And when you do personally go through something like that, what it does, I'll just speak for myself, what it does is there is a true realization of how finite life is. Like, there is something that changes. There's something that changes within your mindset in many ways about how you operate. I'll just speak for myself, so I'll try to give you some examples. So when you go through something challenging like that, where it could be, it could end up being something that impairs your life or could end your life. I don't know how else to put it, but that's the truth. It's cancer. It not only causes you to self-reflect, but it also, at least for me, it pushed me to, in certain, for instances, be a little bit more carefree with certain things I'm doing, to be a little less timid, a little bit more like, look, man, this is your only life. Like, you either say something now or you don't, or like, who cares what somebody thinks of you? Like, you want to seize this moment, you want to make a funny moment out of this, or you want to do it just causes you to be a little bit more carefree. It also causes you, at least for me, I've always been a very upfront, and I'm a very passionate, very emotional guy. That's just who I am outside of, this whole YouTube thing. If you knew me personally as an individual. But even as somebody who is pretty emotional and passionate, especially as a man, it still causes you to self-reflect more and make sure that you're expressing certain things to people who should have it expressed to. And it doesn't need to necessarily be people who are super close in your life. It could be, like, I actually just left an audio message for a guy acquaintance on Instagram, and this guy, he when I was back home up north, he could see something was wrong with me. I had a neck compression on, I had a catheter in my neck and a bulb in my chest. And just, I mean, you'd have to be a complete moron not to see something was wrong with me. He didn't ask me what was wrong with me. Like, he didn't ask me that blatant statement. He just came up to me and he said, "Hey, CBG," of course, whatever my real name is. "Hey, CBG, how are you doing? How's everything going?" And I know in that moment I wasn't myself, and I kind of rushed the conversation. I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm okay. You know, I'm doing well. How are you doing?" And I kind of rushed the conversation. I actually left him a message today, just thanking him for that moment of compassion, because I think what he recognized was that I think what was unspoken in that moment was he saw I was going through something difficult. I was still in the gym trying to make something of myself, trying to do what I could. And I was very frustrated. I was so frustrated in the gym because I was lifting pussy weight, and I was trying to be positive. You know, I'm trying to be positive, but, you know, using 15 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever I was using and just doing pussy weight exercises. It was, I gotta tell you, it was very humbling and frustrating at the same time. He was intelligent enough and self-aware enough to be compassionate by just asking me how I was, and didn't take offense if I was short with him. And I finally left him an audio message today thanking him for that, because it meant a lot to me. It did. Do your best. One of the things I would share with you guys as you're kind of going through the journey of life. As you're going through the journey of life, one of the things I would encourage you to do is two things. One, I would encourage you to try to do the best that you can to be a better active listener. So instead of doing more talking, do more listening, be a really good active listener. And then two, I would also challenge you to be more self-aware. Be more self-aware of your surroundings and the people around you and the things they're going through. Because quite often, you and I can both, and myself included in this, I'm not, excluded from this. You and I can get so wrapped up in the day-to-day of what we're doing that we can lose sight of the struggles and challenges that other people who we care about, maybe we don't even have a deep affection for them, but we still, there's some degree of compassion as a human being. We can lose sight of some challenges they may be going through. It's very easy and quick to look at someone and judge somebody and come to a quick conclusion, and that's quite different than getting to know who they are as an individual and to understand what they may be going through. I can think of another individual who I've seen in the gym that I go to, and if you saw him, you would think something's wrong with this guy, like there's a screw loose or something. But if you actually talk to him, you would recognize this guy's been through a lot. His wife just died. He was in a horrific accident. He clearly has had some brain damage, and he's not all there. But he's an extremely kind individual, right? And it's important not to judge people too quickly. It's important to really be compassionate and to get to know them and to open up and to understand who they are as an individual. So these are all things that I was thinking about earlier today. Like originally I was supposed to, it's funny, yesterday originally I was supposed to go golfing with my buddy who I always go golfing with. He texts me and says I'm unavailable to golf, so I had my day to myself yesterday. I was able to relax. I watched He-Man, as I had shared yesterday on the Daily TA live stream, all in the charts. Click that bell icon for all notifications. By the way, if you appreciate the real talk, make sure you seriously make sure you subscribe to the channel and click all notifications and give me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. But I was watching He-Man Revolution yesterday. Wrapped that series up. All in all, I thought the series was good. I thought the ending was a little, like, some of the stuff at the end, I was like, alright, this is getting a little fucking over the top here, but all in all, it was good. I'm looking for... They're clearly going to do another short series again based on how it ended. So I am looking forward to it. So it was good. All in all, I give it a... What score would I give it out of 10? I would give it an 8 out of 10. 8. 7's too low, 9's too high. 8 out of 10. And I'm very careful about my numbers. But all in all, it was good. I would encourage you guys to watch it if you like anime, cartoons, or if you're an 80s buff like me. Guys, you know at this point I was born in 82. So, you know, if you're talking about music, if you're talking about cartoons, I'm a fucking 80s buff, man. I'll talk to you about 80s bands and, you know, 80s movies and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, so I was in yesterday, and then today I was supposed to meet up with a friend of mine. And I did one of those things where we both said we were going to meet up with each other, and then I never followed up with him, and he never followed up with me. But I was okay with that because I needed a day to myself to kind of recharge and reset. I'll get together. That's just how I am. Like, I don't need to be around people all the time. Being around people energizes me, but at the same time, being by myself energizes me. There's a term, I believe I'm an ambivert. So an introvert, an extrovert, and then an ambivert is somebody, I think it's ambivert, is somebody who is in between an introvert and extrovert. Now, if you put me in a room of actuaries, I'm an extrovert. But depending what room I'm in, I can seem like an extrovert or maybe an introvert, although that's rare. I'm more of an ambivert. But I can very much enjoy weekends by myself. I don't need to be hanging out with friends or acquaintances or whatever. But so I was cool not getting back to him. I'll see him next week. We can get together. I had a weekend to myself. I'm not getting together with anyone tomorrow. I had the whole damn weekend to myself, and I'm good with that. I'm comfortable going to a movie by myself. I'm comfortable. Fuck, I might go out to eat by myself tomorrow. I don't know. But as much as I love companionship, and I think anyone in life needs companionship, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be by myself forever. But I think, you know, time to yourself is good. It was good to go to the beach by myself, have a little bit of meditation time, really think about things. It did me well. It did me really well, you know, and I'm glad I had that time. So I hope everybody's been having a good weekend. Let's see who we have in the live stream here. Who do we have? Oh, shit. Got some comments here. Sorry. Hey, Black Oil. Good to see you, my friend. KR, good to hear. Yeah, send me a DM, brother, on Instagram. 2 brain cells, man. You're becoming quite common on the live stream. Glad to see you in the live stream. Black Oil, how's that guy doing that had a heart attack? Oh! Okay, let me get to this question. Hey, bro, what do you think about... Hey, Jorge, what's up, my friend? I haven't seen any news on Casper. I haven't been paying attention to crypto, quite honestly, today. So, guys, you can see the live stream. I mean, you know, I don't know if you guys actually can see the live stream. I thought that the way this worked, it would show it to you, Juan. Chat is quiet. We're listening. Yeah, I think you can see it. I have not seen any news on Casper, although the chart's been shit lately, so I'll take a look. But thank you. By the way, seriously, Jorge, thank you for the heads up, because I will look into that after I get off the live stream. So, Black Oil, let me get to your comment. How's that guy doing that had the heart attack? So, it's funny you bring that up. That's Jim. That was Jim. And Jim, so, it's funny. I literally just saw Jim back in the... This is no pun intended. I literally just saw Jim back in the gym maybe a week ago. And he's doing well. And admittedly, I've been a little short with him as I've been with other people, because when I've been in the gym, I've been so fucking focused on my goals. I've been super focused. Like, if you saw me in the gym, if you thought I was focused before in the gym, since returning and going back, like, if you follow me on Instagram at Crypto Bull God, you can see what I posted out there today. If you thought I was focused before, my focus level has increased twice as much. I am laser focused. I will blindly walk by somebody I know, and it's not to be rude. I just won't see them because I'm so focused on looking at the weights that I'm going to lift. I don't even see the person. Like, hey, CBG. Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? And then I'll give a quick smile. Hey, what's up, brother? I'm just so focused. So I've seen Jim. I've chatted with him a little bit. Couple interesting things there. Well, first off, he did ask to get together for a bite to eat, and I said, yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to get his number. I'm going to not rush tomorrow. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. I'll get in the gym whenever the hell I get in the gym. That's what I've decided tomorrow. I'm sure I'll see Jim tomorrow or Monday. We're going to get together for a bite to eat. But the interesting thing he shared with me is he doesn't remember anything when he was in the hospital. That's what's crazy. And he doesn't remember the day he came into the gym. And he shared with me that there's only bits and pieces that are coming back to him. And I said, well, Jim, just to let you know, I did visit you in the hospital. I did meet your wife, and she, she's a very strong woman. And I was saying all these things, and she's like, oh no. And he said, oh no, she told me, and I some of that is starting to come back to me, and thank you and all this stuff. And I said, when you're ready, I can share some more specifics about the day that everything happened. But I can tell you one thing, which is this. When I saw you in the morning, you and I joke all the time. And I joked with you that morning, and you didn't look like yourself. You didn't laugh. I said something funny to you, and you didn't say anything in return. And you looked out of it, man. You just didn't look yourself. And so what he said to me was, he didn't remember that, but what he did say to me was, and this is something for you guys to pay attention to, especially you guys who are, especially you guys who are in your 20s who think you're invincible. Now, this is a guy who's in his 50s, if not his early 60s. I think he's in his 60s, actually. I think he's in his 60s. He said I was on too many energy drinks. I was doing energy drinks all the time, and I think that's the root cause. And I said, Jim, all right. Well, it's good you identified that. So let me say this. You got to ask yourself, why are you taking energy drinks all the time? What's the root cause of that? Because taking energy drinks for the long term is not sustainable. So you need to figure out the root of your cause for feeling like you need to take energy drinks and fix that. No one should feel like they need to take energy drinks all the time. And you know that. You're an intelligent person. You work hard. You've done very well for yourself. You know this, but you need to hear it from another guy. You should not be on energy drinks consistently like that. In fact, at your age, and I hate to say this saying, but especially at your age, you shouldn't be taking any energy drinks. And you know this. And so he owned up to it. He was like, yeah, I know. I agree with you and all this stuff. And I said, when I was in my 20s, even young 30s, I used to do energy drinks. There was a period of time I was going through my exams. When I was studying for my actuarial exams to get my FSA and I was working full-time, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. It was literally like I was working 2 full-time jobs. It was fucking insanity. It was fucking insanity when I look back on it. There's no way I could go back to that. Fuck that shit. Okay? But I was taking energy drinks, Monster drinks. I would go to Sam's and buy these fucking 24 cases of Monster drinks. I was on that shit. And there were times I needed it because, it was pure insanity. I was engaged at the time. Yes, CBG was married at one point. I was engaged, living with my fiance. I was still maintaining my gym routine. Both her and I, we'd get up. We'd go super early in the morning. We'd be there at 4:30 in the morning. I'd come home. I'd study. I'd work. Then I'd study. I would make dinner because I feel like every single goddamn time I've been in a relationship, I've been always the one making dinner. So I would make dinner, and we'd go to bed and we'd repeat, rinse and repeat, right? And Sunday was always my off day. Saturday I'd get up early and study and then work out. We go to the gym together, and Sunday was my day off. Sunday was always my day off. Sometimes Saturday. But the point is, I know what a super busy schedule looked like, and I knew how unhealthy it was to be on pre-workout and energy drinks. I used to do that shit all the time. Pre-workout and energy drinks. So I gave him a little bit of a lecture, laid off a little bit, because I'm sure his wife, I could tell by meeting his wife seemed like somebody who would lay into him, so I wasn't too hard on the guy. But anyway, Black Oil, to answer your question, he's doing well. We're going to go out to lunch. I'm sure we'll have some real conversation. He doesn't know about anything with the cancer stuff I've been through. I've kept that from him. Of course, he's seen my neck at the gym, so I'm sure he's like, what the hell is up with that? But I've been way too quick with him to not allow him to ask questions. But I'll open up to him. We'll go out to lunch, and we'll have a good conversation. But he's doing well. Let's see who else is in here. Always good to see Black Oil. All right, we're picking up the viewers, guys. The CBG podcast is back. I know this is random. It's on a Saturday. You can always go back and catch it in syndication. Kyle! What is going on, brother? Good to see you here. I was just thinking about you, actually. Good to see you. Hey, as long as you guys are listening, I don't need to be on video, guys. You know what I look like, right? So I enjoy the audio sometimes. About to do some hydrogen water. Interesting. All right. If a girl don't cook for you, she ain't for you. Fuck. Okay. Well, but I do cook because my girl doesn't know how to cook Peruvian food, and I do. Whoa, Jorge, you know Peruvian food? I love. Te amo, Peruvian food. Te amo. Te quiero. No, te quiero is I love you romantically. Te amo is I love you. I love Peruvian food though. So Jorge, brother, this is the way it's been. Now, I'm not going to say that I've always been in a relationship where the woman didn't cook for me, but I will say in more situations than not, I've always been in this situation where I am the one who cooks dinner. This is the way it is. Not since I was 25, 26, 27, 28 was I in a relationship where we jointly made dinner together and we would cook together. It's been years. Like, I've always been the one to, I don't know, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I will say, you got to make it. Now, I will say this. Now, in my current situation, I will say this. Something we've spoken about is, look, I don't mind doing the cooking, the majority of the cooking, because she'll do some breakfast. I don't mind doing the majority of the cooking, but then the cleaning is up to you. You got to pick up the slack somewhere, right? You want to fucking sweep the floors and mop the floors and do all that shit, go for it. So then that's up to you. But you gotta, like, as long as you guys make it work, right? So I'm fine with that. All right, Kyle. Now, brother, look. All right. Nice video of you deadlifting earlier, but wrist straps. Come on, man. All right, Kyle. Now, look. Now, let me condition this statement by first saying, I love you, brother, and I appreciate the support. But now I'm about to call your ass out and tell you what's up. First off, you were on the live stream yesterday. Now, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being a pussy by saying this. Literally. And this actually has never happened to me before. I can't remember a single time this has ever happened to me before. My finger was swollen. And guys, this is actually a reminder to you, since Kyle is going to call me out, and I'm about to call him out and respond to this. Guys, you can be a man, and you can man it up, and you can say, like, my finger's swollen, it hurts, I'm just going to man it up, I'm going to continue deadlifting, I'm going to continue doing what you're doing. The moment you start squeezing your finger, and then all of a sudden white pus oozes out of your finger, that is when to take it serious, okay? Because of all the shit that happened to me last year, and even in 2022, which I didn't share some of that stuff with you guys. It's been a shit-tacular past year and a half. I was extra careful with my finger. I had white pus coming out of it. So I have antibiotic cream. I have leftover, what is it called? Amoxicillin. I have leftover amoxicillin for my catheter from my neck. I started taking that because it's an antibiotic. I've been cleaning my finger like 3 times now a day, wrapping it up. So I can't really grip the bar well. The other thing I would add is, Kyle, all right? I haven't really been deadlifting for the past, I don't know if you caught that on my Instagram, 84 motherfucking days, brother. 84 motherfucking days. So if you're going to call me out for not raw deadlifting that, look, I love you, but fuck you, all right? Fuck you, all right? Don't call that shit out. Because I will tell you, check back with me in July. I am giving myself until July. And by the time I get to July, I am going to be in better shape, stronger, and more fit by July than I was before my surgery. That is the deadline I've given myself. So you fucking check back in with me, Kyle. We will revisit this conversation. Yeah, I'm going to like that shit. Yeah, you give me a hard time. It's all right. You can give me a hard time. It's okay. It's all right. You can call me out. But I got a response for that shit. Juan, Red Bull is no good. Red Bull is no good, man. I used to do the sugar-free Red Bull. I did sugar-free Red Bull, and I did those Blue Monster drinks. The Blue Monster drinks were the sugar-free drinks. So, no, all that shit is bad. Interesting comment, though, Jorge. I might have to share that with my girl. She's not cooking for me more, you know? Even though we got the cooking, cleaning thing situated, might have to... And also, you got this Casper comment. I'll have to check up on that. Trying to think what else we got going on, guys. I mean, honestly, how long we been live streaming? Let's see. Oh, 42 minutes. Shit. I'm trying to think of anything else I wanted to share with you guys. There really isn't much going on. You know, the market, I haven't been as close to it today. But I saw Bitcoin was around, I think it was at 41.8. So, again, unless anything astronomically, you know, unexpectedly happens tomorrow, I'm not anticipating going live tomorrow. I'm anticipating a day off. So, I wouldn't expect me going live tomorrow. But, I don't think there's too much else to share unless you guys have something for me. If you guys have any questions for me before... Holy shit, we got some loud-ass motherfucking cars back here. By the way, reconnected with somebody I used to have a business relationship with. This dude ends up coming down and moving from, the hell was he at? He lived in Minnesota. No, he lived, I think, in the Carolinas, and he moved down to Oakland Park, which is like, I mean, I live in Pompano. And, he lives like 5 minutes from Funky Buddha, so I was like, hey, if you want to grab a beer sometime, let's go up to Funky Buddha. If anybody is ever down in South Florida, hit me up. South Florida, so specifically I'm in Pompano, or is it Pompano? Pompano? Pompano. Pompano? Pompano. I'm in Pompano Beach, so if anybody is ever down in South Florida near Fort Lauderdale, let me know. I would definitely, I don't just say this to say this. There's one guy I met up with from here, and we had a great time, like just shooting the shit. And I mean what I say. So if you guys are ever down in South Florida, let me know. Let me see if you guys have any other questions, anything going on. 2 brain cells. You're a tech man, dishwasher. You're a dishwasher? Where the hell you work at, brother? Where you work? Juan, I think you missed my question. What question did you have? Oh, you got a crypto question. This is the CBG podcast, right? So we can talk about that. Juan, something I've considered doing is trying to do an analysis where I looked at the top 10 and then the 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 200, and determine how the money flowed and what potential positive correlation existed within those market cap rankings to determine how long altcoins peaked after Bitcoin. In generalities, what I would say to you to answer your question, most altcoins, not all, there are some altcoins, like I think Litecoin is an example. Litecoin tends to peak around a similar timing as Bitcoin, but there are some altcoins, I think XRP is an example, where they will tend to peak several weeks after Bitcoin tops, right? So I'm glad you asked the question, and I really do. I never pay lip service to anyone. I really am appreciative of you asking that question because it kind of puts the thought back in my mind. Hey, CBG, why don't you take a look at the, like I said, top 20 to 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 200. Look at the timing of when they top out relative to Bitcoin to try to provide guidance to others. But in generalities, what happens is these altcoins, they top out after Bitcoin because money floods into the altcoins after Bitcoin has topped out. That's what I would say. All right, you send me some pics of what you cook. Jorge, I one thing I am confident of is I am a very good cook, you know? There's some shit I'm just not good at, you know? Like, there's some guys, they can, they can get a starter home. They can do electrical work, and, you know, they can put a new floor in, toilet, fix up the ceiling. That's not me. Now, could I learn to do that? Yes, but currently, that's not me. But could I make you a delicious meal of, seared scallops, some crab cakes, some seared Chilean sea bass, some coconut rice, some non-overdone asparagus with some sun-dried tomato paste? Gonna make you a sauteed Brussels sprout side with some turkey bacon and seared onions and peppers. See, these are things I can, like, as it comes to recipes and cooking, I've done it for so long, I can come up with recipes just like that. I don't need to look at a cookbook. I know how long you cook something. I know how long you, even baking. Like, I feel like I'm good at baking. I know that shit. You don't need to give me a recipe. Just like some people are good at, like, home decor and, like, fixing up stuff and they don't need to look at stuff. That's not me. That's not who I am. That's just not, my dad never showed me that shit. I never learned it, But cooking is something I've learned on my own. I've kind of picked up naturally. I'm really good at it. I got to give myself some props for that. I'm very good at cooking. I am the okay, Jorge. All right, hold on. Jorge's about to put himself on a pedestal. I am the prize. My girls looks at me as her king. Okay. I clean. I cook. I do everything. So when I ask her to make me a sandwich, my girl gets up and does it. I'm sorry, Jorge. No, man, I'm sure you're good at what you do. It does sound funny, but I'm sure you're good. She is my queen. We make it work, but she knows who the man is in the house. Hey, man, in all seriousness, putting all joking aside, you guys clearly make it work. she's your queen, you're her king, you make it work. You have that unspoken acknowledgement. Like, I all seriousness, I give you a lot of props for that. That's hard to achieve. It's really hard to achieve. Relationships in general are very difficult. I've shared this I'll share something with you I have not shared on this lot. I don't think I've ever shared with you guys. If there is one thing I aspire for most in life, it is true companionship. Somebody who I can really spend my life with. You know, I don't wish my life had worked out any differently than how it has. But, you know, there's a part of me, if you said, like, if there was something in your life that you could change ideally that would be different today than it has worked out, yeah, sure, it'd be relationship-wise. I mean, I don't aspire to be single or be by myself or be in an unstable relationship. I genuinely aspire to be in a committed relationship, and it's difficult to achieve. I've been married, Jorge. I was married one time in my life. I don't really think about it much. It was for me, it was a long time ago. But I will say this. One thing that taught me was you can't think with your heart. You have to think with both your head and your heart. Not the head between your legs, by the way, because if you always thought with the head between your legs, I mean, Jesus Christ, you know, especially if you're down South Florida, the Colombians down here. Anyway, the Colombian women down here are just fucking ridiculous. No, you have to think with the head on the top of your shoulders, and you have to think with your heart as well. It's a mix of both. But it's a challenge. You know, that's a whole nother. I think that's a whole nother podcast we could spend time about. Maybe I'll think about things we can talk about with that. Anyway, 2 brain cells. If you do the cooking after my delicious meal, I'll place all the dirty plates into a dishwasher. I will do that. I enjoy preparing my own meals. I'm very independent. However, also order out a lot. I don't order out a lot, actually. I don't. I find that when I've been in a relationship, I order out more than when I'm single. I will cook more when I'm single than not. Like, I'm completely content eating in. I don't need to go out a lot. I really don't, because I feel like I can make delicious meals, but quite often I feel like when I'm in a relationship, there's just like, not that I don't enjoy it. It's more for the environment, not more for the food, but, you know, you go out more. That's just the truth of it. All right, guys, I think that we are going to wrap up. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is the official return of the CBG podcast. This is something I have to clean up the thumbnail. This thumbnail is a little, I don't know, it's a little brutal, I'll be honest with you. But I tried the best I could, all right, for the first podcast. I wasn't so concerned with the thumbnail. I just wanted to get out here and get back on the podcast. So, but in all seriousness, thank you for tuning in. Count on this like once a week. Just once a week. Just checking in. We can talk about real world news events. We can go outside the crypto world. You guys can come on here. You can ask me any questions you want. I can't think of a question I wouldn't answer. So you can come on here and ask me any question that you want. And we can have fun with it. So until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness. And let's carry that motherfucking education forward. Take care, everybody. It was good to see you. Thank you for tuning in.